Yes, you're live. How are you people doing? Distilled water, or it's nature's finest. That's how it comes. That's how you should drink it. Yes, gentlemen, yes, people, we are talking about the wonderful world that sees the Pentagon. Confessions from the Pentagon. When last did we have confessions of a Pentagon surrounding trillions of money going absent? Your answer in the live chat below. Tell me when last did this happen? And of course, they will never want to have it truly covered in great detail and great length. You know, the paltry sum. Let's just talk about paltry sums. Paltry sum. Don't forget they've lost before amounts. It was about 2.3 trillion when good old known unknowns was declaring it on the 10th of September 2001. Remember that day? Well, now a bit of inflation, you understand. Slush funds have got to grow. Slush funds have got to be nice. And slush puppy, lots of little dirty deeds done dirt cheap, and now not so cheap. $4.4 trillion, according to a new Department of Defense audit, raising alarm bells, not just because of the obvious lack of accountability. So a lack of accountability, 4.4 trillion. Let's just go over that again. A millionaire, 1 million. A billion, 1,000 batches of 1 million, 1 billion. 1 trillion, 1,000 batches of a billion, which is 1,000 millions. 4.4, not one. 4.4 of those gone missing. Gone missing. You wonder who's been using the dark net, who's been buying all the longevity, and I won't get into what I'm about to say. We don't want to get another strike on this channel. You wonder where all that slush money of Ukraine has been going. You wonder where all those defense contracts. Oh, looking at the stinky stock market, looking very sick. Except, of course, if you're looking at Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin, $483.3. Very, very close to its all-time high of 494. Looking chipper as a brick. BAE Systems sitting here at 811. That's pounds. 811 pounds. Highs less than 860. Very close to all-time highs. Just to be clear, it was around 540. At December last year. You're now going into December this year, 540 plus. You're talking about a safe 270 pounds more. You know, it's over 50% up. It's over 50% up in a year. What's happening? Who's getting all this money? Who's getting all this money at the same time as the Pentagon is 4.4 trillion? Gee, I sat down on the couch a couple of times, and it seems a couple of coins fell out of my back pocket and gone behind the couch. Only somebody's rinsed out the back of the couch and taken all those coins. We also look at HO, that is tails. Tales, T-H-A-L-E-S, tails, I think it is. 122, all-time high. Recently, 129. Last year, December, 72. Another 50% in the bag, more than a 50%. It's up almost 50 pounds on 73. That is almost 80%. That's fabulous. Jesus, did you know there was this huge freaking equity bull market, actually? In spite of all those head and shoulders I've been drawing of the S&P collapsing, of the NASDAQ collapsing, making targets, the Dow made its target, so that's pumped a little bit more recently. But actually, you've got equities that are close to their all-time high, much higher than Apple is close to its all-time high, much higher than Tesla is close to its all-time high, much higher than Amazon, Meta, oh my God, Netflix, much closer, much closer. You're talking recent all-time highs, within a spitting distance of recent all-time highs. Let's have a look at Saab. Saab, another military industrial. Where was it December last year? Saab was down at 227 euros. Today, 385. My God, guys, there's a freaking bull market going on out there. But what industry is this again? Let's get to the bottom of this. BA. Now, this is not BAE. This is Boeing. not nearly as good. Commercial airlines down, not nearly as good. Raytheon, though, let's have a look at them. They aren't stuck with commercial airlines in their portfolio. Where were they in December? December. Oh, dearie me. Well, they had a low in the 30th of November, $79. Today, $97. Raytheon Technologies. Oh, it seems they're doing okay. And then we come to Northrop Grumman Corporation. So Northrop, where were they? Well, around that same November, 30th of November time, they were 345 euros. Now 526, very spitting distance to all-time highs made recently in the back end of October, and very, very close. Another 50%. Did you know that there's actually been a bull market 50% in all major defense stocks that are pure defense plays? I bet you didn't. I didn't know that. And then, friends, we had one of our Twitter followers mention, and of course, community members. We seem to have Bavarian Nordic. That is the good old mosquito bite that could lead to starts with a P, which would be a Mark II of the one that started with a C, but not to mention anymore because I don't want any more strikes. That is all bumping up against a 390 euro mark in what is very much an ascending triangle. And of course, recently watched a lot of things about a certain William Gates that says there will be shortly another version of the thing that starts with a P. And the first brand started with a C. And now we're going to get one that's being rebranded MP instead of the animal, because the animal means it's too easy to mock them. You know, when you associate the animal, the primate that swings from trees, you see, they actually have AI that listens to the words we say. So we've got to get a lot smarter. Otherwise, I'm just going to get murdered. But you know exactly what I think you think I'm saying, if you know what I think I'm meaning. So we're at about 390 on this Nordic, Bavarian Nordic top, a bit of a capping top. They have a cure. They have a cure for the thing that begins with an M that came from the animal that swings in a tree. And as we all know, the people that say you're going to get Mark II are all potentially suggesting that the thing that swings from a tree will be the new branded version of the thing that begins with a P. If you know what I don't mean. Okay, having fun yet? This is going to be fun. We're going to keep that Google algorithm fooled as FUCK, if you know what I mean. Okay, so that's what's going down. And what other things are going down? So never before have I seen so many reset trembly rumblings. So you've got a soft to going pretty hard run on Credit Suisse in the banking section. You have, at the moment, you have also a trial, which I've referred to as a drill, as in mandrill, the thing that begins with a monkey, only without the man. A drill, a real exercise before you go live to do something, kind of like what happened on the events last time the Pentagon had a major announcement about trillions going missing by the man who said known unknowns, unknown unknowns, and known unknowns, and all the other versions and permutations of that. You see, it's getting really confusing, but I'm doing my damnedest here. So you've got to help me and hit the like button to fool the algorithm, because the new game is fool the algorithm and don't say any danger words. Don't say any danger words. Even elongated muskiness is getting a little bit annoyed with Apple because he doesn't do enough screening, and they're not going to spend marketing with him anymore. You see those big tech companies that are supposedly non-governmental private concerns that actually seem to do a whole bunch of censoring. They do a whole bunch of censoring, along with YouTube that does a whole bunch of censoring. So we've got to keep dancing around like a animal begins with an M on a hot tin roof, for example. We've got to dance like that. And then you avoid getting bad. So that's what's going down at the moment. So drill of CBDCs. This is a transnational, trans-banking drill, in my opinion. In other words, this is the beginning of an effort to actually transfer funds, not only between banks in the same country, but the Western banking system is now already in a heightened state of play, whereby they are forwarding things backwards and forwards and doing various things, trying to break, and they are essentially drilling, are we ready? And they're always one more step ahead than you really realize, because they've already been testing all that stuff for the testing. So this actually is a go live drill that suddenly might go live, not be a drill. That's, you see what I mean? And I'm not talking about the drill as in the tool. The tool is me and you. We're going to get tooled. So let's have a look at your comments. Other people just use code words for the cerveza sickness. I know George uses that one. I've never really understood that. Yeah, maybe we'll have to come up with our own version. Do we go long Shiba Inu when the first nuke hits? No. Crypto is not the place to hide. Would a die from the V be deflation? So the increase. So the question is: are the targets and goals that Catherine Alston Fitz have referred to quite specifically regarding the nation states' death cults and death targets that are nation state specific, and you get big rewards if you are the man child in the country up north, or the man that's pretending to be a woman in the island right in the bottom of the world, in the other corner of the world. Yes, they get special bonuses for being particularly good at wiping out their citizenry and being absolutely brazen and shamefaced and having bought into the cult of crack cocaine and generally killing their citizens. So yeah, they're doing pretty well. Would you get a deflationary event out of this? Actually, no. Well, part of the thing is, so I covered this a little bit in our video when we were doing our Picasso diagram with the very interesting chat that Maneko made with Clive Thompson, which I've referred to. And the point I mentioned there is, well, once they've killed your old dollar, or at least ring-fenced it to stagnate and wither on the vine, that only a small minimal level goes through the birthing canal and makes it into the new CBDC, and you end up having to go black market on a tapering valuation through the Chosen Ones channel that will no doubt be getting it all through at full valuation and will be ripping your face off to hand you a loss. What will end up happening is that trapped, stagnant, old money system will be made and disadvantaged so that it looks relatively unattractive versus the brand new shiny toy, which is 100% surveillance, but they'll say, oh, we won't have activated any of those things. They'll lie to you sweetly with the intent of Trojanizing them and only having certain things live, which they'll promptly open up immediately and lie to you about. You've already seen CZ, by the way, in other news, just on that point, 430 odd million WhatsApp contacts available for purchase. Now, I could have sworn that actually they don't have much more than 500 million of people. I mean, that must be 70+% of their total usage base, because the Chinese use a different one, and all purchasable for phishing, hacking, and all other things. So all your data is being stolen, is being shared, is being sold on the dark web, where the people like the Pentagon lose 4.4 trillion behind the couch, buying items they shouldn't buy, can't get locally, spending, getting rid of money, using Monero, doing whatever, crypto network, little bit of a wash here. Oh, by the way, when somebody buys art, that is a Ukrainian flag. Now, let's just be clear about the Ukrainian flag. It's not particularly complex. It's blue sky, golden fields, best soil in the world. That's the principle of it. Our blue sky, our lovely golden fields. Blue stripe, yellow stripe. For $46 million, that is not amazing art that was beautifully done on a big canvas. No, that is called money laundering. Repeat after me. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. Money laundering. It's not Picasso. It's not Monet. And even within those, I'm a little bit murky, but it's very definitely just a shit piece of big art done by a 4-year-old in mentality, but for the purpose of money laundering. Nobody pays 46 million for a blue and yellow stripe. Not seriously, not seriously. I do wish to warn you. And that is just simply called money laundering. Rumors of lockdown in South Africa in December due to diesel shortage. Energy lockdown, grid runs mostly on diesel and Eskom out of money to buy expensive diesel. Wonder if the same plan in EU, RK says. So now, having just returned, I can tell you that most nation states, including America and South Africa that I've been in, are particularly low in diesel. The diesel trade, which I discussed on our live stream, go refer Chris McIntosh's section. He was very popular and was eye-opener. How do you trade the diesel shortage trade? You go and you buy shipping tankers, because the people that are moving that stuff around are the tankers, the oil tankers, and the diesel is absolutely running low. And Sasol, which works in Africa, crushes coal to get petrol, oils, and various fuels, sold all their best coal to China, which is burning it for energy and smogging out, and used the lower grade and damaged all the electricity. I would say this is so incompetent, it's almost accidentally on purpose, so that the asset could be essentially crushed in value, be unfit for purpose, and then picked up for an absolute song by, you guessed it, the Oppenheimer family and the related lineage of the chosen ones that one may not criticize, that are descendants, related, name change, name stealers of the other big families that you all know about, and that I don't need to say. So essentially, the family silver is going to be bought, the huge investment in Eskom that was paid for by taxpayers and taken off the government's hands and privatized to a group of people that will then become the monopolists of energy, will have laws written that even if you go off grid, you have to pay them for no longer being a client, on the basis that you have to have a service provision even if you don't use it. That is actually a law in RSA that they're thinking of bringing on, a no-use charge, a provision and no-use charge, even if they haven't yet got the services to you. Can you believe this? So this is the game of the extractors. Absolute monopolism, competition is sin. Even when we can't provide you with the services and you've made alternative arrangements, and we haven't yet put in the infrastructure, we will still charge you on account of you circumventing us as a possible future client when we could someday provide the services. We need money from you today. Can you actually believe what I just said there? Yep, that's where it is in the good old ROCK in the RS of A down south. But independence is absolutely your game, self-reliance, and they will hate you for it. You will be the bourgeois, and they will want to flatten you. And that is why the banking system is now an absolute hop, spit, and a jump from where FTX was and is today. The banking system is and has all the aspects of FTX on a far greater scale, a far greater scale, a far greater scale. He looks far away into the distance like that. Far greater scale. So that million to the billion to the 4.4 trillion, that's the scale of the FTX microcosm as sample to where we are today. And what are they doing? The big satanic nature of the people that celebrate Santa but end up spelling Satan instead is that they reveal to you who they are through hook and by crook, and you have to be non-observant, non-responsive, and then they are absolved of all guilt. This is their code. So then actually, if they've sold you the poison apple and they said poison apple and you took it and you ate it and you died, it was voluntary suicide rather than murder by them. So this is culpability, the essence of culpability and information. If you are not acting and saying problem, reaction, obstacle, threat, and you are not actually doing some critical thinking and picking your way through the wilderness and not stepping on the poisonous snake, you're just fucking forth, you will get taken down, and they will see it as just deserves for being brain dead. So tell your friends not to be brain dead. Tell them to be a wise and wake. Tell them to grab that very same link. Let's see if we still have it over here. which is to pure gold. I've just done some more investing with the guys, top-notch quality people on the phone. Even just getting through the reception, well-spoken, kind, organized, want to chat to you and understand what you need, give you your advice, show you what are the stuff with the higher premiums, the lower premiums. Do you want Britannia's because you're in the UK? Are you international? Are you going to be more American? You just want the cheapest per ounce? Whatever the case may be, you should be clicking that link and getting your money out of this banking system. The collapse of something like a Credit Suisse, a Deutsche Bank, would be a contagion event. The scale of what was provided by the Fed to the European banks in 2019, on the sly, on the quiet, that article has now been compressed. I don't even think you can find it on Zero Hedge. Let's see if I can still find on Zero Hedge that article. It's almost like the event never happened. It's like the tree fell over in the forest and nobody heard, and therefore the tree still stands. I mean, it's unbelievable to me. Let's just go search Zero Hedge. I think it was around 20 trillion provided to banks. So this event, my friends, was and is on an already good to go, ready baked downside crisis. There's so many ready baked, good to go downside crises, from the thing with a P, Mark II, which starts with an M for the animal that hangs from a tree. Then there is the banking system, which could, as I say, with Credit Suisse, could be others, could be a lot of other Deutsche, could be derivatives, it could be bond market liquidity, credit events. 2 quadrillion debt precariously resting on 2 trillion of gold. That's a very interesting headline. It's not the one I was looking for, though. The minute you put household net worth hits record 137 trillion, up 25 since COVID. Yeah, that was the money they put in. I am looking for that. I won't find it in a hurry. So the banks were paid in trillions. Some of them taking 2 points and some taking 1 and a bit. Including US, all the same banks that are now drilling a CBDC. Now, if you go to the Maneko and Clive Thompson video, I said there are things that need to be left behind, and there's a very narrow birthing canal where everything that will be left through will be regulated and allowed through. It's like the VIP line at the special nightclub. The riffraff's not allowed. You're wearing sneakers. You can only come, but you must pay that amount. You must wait for an hour, etc., etc. Bottleneck. And the dung beetle gets to go through the hole, but the dung ball that he was carrying, aka this massive ball of debt that is super provided that nobody wants, stays behind. But we can't tell everybody that it's all instantly become worthless. So we play a game, there's events, a whole lot of stuff. It says, yes, we will deal with this. It slowly loses value. It starts to have a second-hand market value. It falls quickly. So what you need is that dawning realization over time that you've been screwed. It's not going to be instantaneous. It's going to be all quite official. No problem. Everything's fine. Lie to me, lie to me, lie to me. There's just a 2-tier system being set up, and that's being kept there, and that's being kept there, and some of it can get through and other things can't, and new things are started here and those things are staying there, yada yada. Confusing. Plus there's a war going on, plus Balenciaga is doing lots of interesting things that involve things that probably highlight that there's a whole groomer culture behind the entire fashion industry, the entire Hollywood industry. But hey, let's not get into that. So all of these distractions are going to take your eye off the ball, and you're going to be left in a reactionary loop to an absolute whirlwind that gets dumped on you of attack at every single level. So the time is now when you can rationally see that things are warming up towards the potential implementation of that CBDC. You might already be in week 2 of a 12-week drill that goes live some point during that 12 weeks. You may actually only have a day or 2. Remembering when you start moving money of any significance, it always gets harder. Finally, my exchange money withdrawal on the exchange of Bitfinex finally cleared. So I'm off the sweat hook. It actually took 14 days from when I first deposited it in various backwards and forwards and support tickets and everything to move it. And that's what's happening on any kind of sum of any moderate size. So it's going to be a very, very dubious quarter four with a lot of ready-baked narratives. Russian hack narrative, the animal with the M bite narrative with Mark II. Let's be clear, when it comes to something such as lockstep and lockdown, this is a power that is too giddy and great for them to have. They love the idea of they get to play on the planet whilst everyone else is being shut behind doors. In other words, it's so nice and quiet on the roads, in the air, and everywhere. Everything is their playground without a soul around. It's such a giddy, nice power to depress everybody, put them in a lower energetic state, reduce their fighting spirit. It does them wonders for the pharmaceutical happy pills and everything else. Don't take their bloody happy pills. Don't get numbed out. Exercise, jump in cold water, hug family members, do all the things, dance, play music, get sun on your face, do all the things you should do naturally to maintain your mental health. Should they do the sequel to the 2020 game that they played. So let's have a look at some of your comments with regards to this. Don't forget, by the way, themarketsniper.com to join our community. We are looking for trades. Actually, some amazing setups done by community members today. We had a small chat about a few of them. A couple are on, mid-lower tier jewelers that might take a tumble from one of our trade leaders. Really, really like that. A low-cost volume retailer that actually could go up in a recessionary environment. So there's not only shorts. Book a call at marketsniper.com. None of the comments that are engaging with you, that are asking you to chat or go to a WhatsApp group, are legit people, by the way. So please never respond to that. You will only be stolen from. Unfortunately, YouTube does not protect you. Book a call on the website link below. Let's see some of your comments. Mick hoovered out 65 trillion since 9. Yes, need an island, but they'll send their warships to get us. Perhaps, yeah. The only divine intervention can save a remnant of humanity. I'm afraid the psychopaths have finished their plan, and they have already got an NWO through the World Economic Forum. And all the representatives in most of the Western world are very, very focused on that. By the way, interesting bit of literature that I had over here, a bit resetty, about which parts of the world suffer most. The focus of demons, real gremlins in the works, on page 107, I believe it is, how Western Europe and America will be feeling the largest amount of wrath in the great population reduction, aka the Deagle. We haven't mentioned them in a while. Don't forget, they were predicting absolute Armageddons like population destructions in Western Europe. Plus, we have this document over here. Share a link. Go and have a read. I'll let you have it. Focus of demons and gremlins. Go look for that page. I think it was 107, where they admit to the fact that the Eastern are compliant nations. They'll probably keep 500,000 of them. And then the whiteys who ask too much questions and are problematic. And the Africans, oh dear, we'll be lucky amongst all the other races apart from the Far Eastern to make up another 500 million. That's what this particular book says. Thoughts on India's future place in East-West relations. So India will be on the Belt and Road. It will have that query relationship with China. That will be, how does it manage a relationship with China, which ends, by the way, the Middle East is going to be a fulcrum, particularly, the chosen people's site. At the absolute fulcrum. So you have the edge, you have NEOM, you have the whole Saudi full-on investment, the whole Dubai concept, the Middle Eastern coming in from China on the Belt and Road into the Middle East is going to be an absolute hotbed. And I can tell you, my daughter works with a private company that does a lot of state-based planning, a lot of big, like ports, infrastructure, lay of the roads, and you know that masonry is very heavily in that because they have certain designs they like and where to put an obelisk and various other things that go on in this sort of thing. Middle East, Lebanon, everywhere around there, just massive. The British statist town planners and civil engineers are doing huge project works in the Middle East. Huge project works in the Middle East. All the projects are going on there. This is going to be a fulcrum. And if you think you want to run to there, I want to warn you, they are going to do some of the highest tech, pack 'em high, 6G, 7G, piled high, all your entertainment, go nowhere and stay in two glass walls 300 meters apart for this huge strip of an edge nation city. This is going to be airpods. So you do not want to be necessarily there, but I will tell you that there will be a lot of money going in there. You might want to be able to sell in there remotely in terms of positioning. Genie Energy, no known update. Haven't looked at it a while, but we know who the big holders were in that one. The rise of the caliphate and the return of the gold dinar, maybe. Will they be able to successfully impose CBDC in Mexico? Striated economy, not completely captured, thus cash-reliant cartels, maybe a good refuge. So generally, Latin America is not bad for refuge. The question is there a new 911s event to follow that's going to swallow up this declaration that the Pentagon dark state of permanent government has consumed 4.4 trillion. Just think how many people have earnestly paid taxes. How many earnest people paying all their lives taxes that number consumes. So you think you're doing a good thing and you should feel good paying taxes. That is what you fed. You fed that hole for all these ISIS and other operatives sitting with truckloads of cash notes that they've been given and being left armaments by you know who on a quick withdrawal to claim and various other things. You are funding that. Your duty and job is to defund these extractors. Your duty, it's a moral duty. You actively need to seek to be, in terms of everything, as little contribution towards this brutal globalized regime that is absolutely corrupt to the core. That's where we are. Study your Espanol. Yeah, Spanish will help if you're out Latin way. Some tactical nuclear weapon. The nations all whistle the same tune. The leper colony, where they are all lepers and have all kissed the leper king and queen, although genders don't matter too much to them. What's your assessment on Brazilian real? Keep in mind that Lula is left and probably part of the WEF. Haven't looked at the real in a bit. Let's have a look. Can tell you it wasn't doing too badly at one point. I mean, it generally loses value to the dollar during this period and has done for the last months. But actually, since its high in May, it's actually just in a long continuation broadening structure, trading at about 5.29. I think in time it will revert to go back up, but it doesn't look like anytime soon just yet. So long run, its trajectory is devaluation to the dollar, long run. But that doesn't mean I'm expecting the dollar immediately to start going up. And in fact, you could see the real go down. It is in a big, lengthy wedge, he says, as he does draws with lines that you can't see, unfortunately, because this is not a normal live stream. This is just webcam version. But we will do chart updates as well. So yeah, that's all I've got for you on the real at the moment. Is it anything particularly interesting? I think it'll ease maybe a little bit, but longer run, I think it goes higher. But how much gold have they got? This is the question. How many useful commodities have they got? That could be a useful question. The surprising thing, you know, you got the rand at about 17. It's come back down from an 18.5 run from when I was out there October. You know, you had 18.5, now you're 17. So the dollar has been weaker. Even the Turkish lira has held its current levels of 18.6 in a very, very restrained way. eerily so. At some point, that I'm sure will blow up. The Taiwan dollar has gained some strength. The dollar's lost against that. The dollar's lost against most things recently for a bit, including the yen. USD Mexican, the peso has actually been firming against the dollar quite nicely. And has been disproportionately strong, actually, during all of this period. So the peso has been, on the monthly, relatively strong. The ruble's sitting at about 60. Don't forget, at the spike high, it was 154. That is since it's a commodity-backed currency. The euro ran up to almost 105 and is now 103.4. Looking a little toppy here after that parity run, which we expect it will run back and down through again. So euro Swiss franc is still a great trade from 108, and of course it ran parity. Let's have a look at what else. Korean won has also paused on its up move. It had a strong sell-off. It has also paused. We've done a revised draw inside the community, but we still, in fact, our target has got higher and bigger. But you want the detail on that, you can check in via our community. Euro Swiss franc 98. That's from our original call at 108. So whilst it is slightly up since its extremist lows of 94, it's not rallied nearly as strongly as the dollar. So the Swiss have had a chance to not have to chase the euro and gobble it up and buy it up during this period that it's actually got some strength. Good day, everyone. Stay positive. A chicken with a head can still feed itself. Exactly. That's a good point. What is the web address for you to learn to trade it? How much is it? So go to themarketsniper.com, have a chat. They will show you everything you need to see and more. It will be the best 25 minutes you'll spend. It's friendly. You'll get an offer. There's no obligation to do anything unless you like what you see. Brazil has been acquiring gold for the last 3 years. Lynn Alden and Tavi Costa have been talking about companies in Brazil. Yes, Lynn's usually well directed in terms of that sort of thing. So they're big corporates down there. They're big country, big population. BlockFi went down, says Crypto Elf. He's quite right. XAU. So gold and silver. Now understand something. So I had a couple of reset videos that I lost that I wanted to share. And here's the 5-bullet summary. It is my express opinion, now that oil is being turned down and dollar is being turned down, that we have clearly slowed down substantially. So we went into a recession when we actually technically went into a recession, which they denied. So what's actually happening is the inflation is significantly higher, but the growth is significantly lower. That's hyperstagflation. You are in this space here where we are above on the inflation line where we should be and needing to tighten rates. And we are also above on rates where we need to be for how weak the economy is. We should be cutting, but we can't cut because the inflation is unnecessarily high. So you're caught between two evils. So what is actually happening is that technically we need to keep tightening to fight what's still too high in inflation, even though it's topping. But given our economic strength, we actually need to cut. So neither is a good position. There's no monetary policy that's right for right now. And until a major credit event, probably, but other bank, Russian hack, the animal that begins with an M, bites all the people, etc., until they unpack their event, we aren't going to get a turn, which people are referring to the pivot in interest rates. Now, the interesting part that we discussed in the community and that Alessio had quite correctly highlighted on one of his YouTubes is that the biggest fall, and we were saying this, but I didn't have a chart to show people on it, and he had gone and got one. The biggest falls come after the Fed starts cutting. So we have positioned short early for equity collapses. Short ARK, short Tesla, short SPY, short NASDAQ, short junk debt and TLT. But what will happen is the bonds will start to get a bid again when they cut rates. So the TLT short will stop doing that well because they will get people to buy bonds. Now, it is my opinion, although George said a short-term trade and I don't want to mischaracterize it in bonds, as could make you money. It's my opinion, you do not want any form of debt at end of cycle, end of debt times, just because it might go up a little bit. It's like running and grabbing pennies in the fast lane. You're about to get smashed by a Porsche Turbo at 300 kilometers per hour. It just wasn't worth that 5-cent piece that you probably picked up and then got hit. And I think that's collecting, as I say, 5-cent pieces in front of steamrollers. At my own personal opinion, although I think he can be right for a while, I think owning any form of debt into reset, knowing that the dung beetle is going to have to leave his turd ball behind to climb through the hole in the wall to be birthed into the new CBD system. The game is they need that debt to get isolated and then give their 6 months for a dawning realization for those holders of such dung beetle debt, turd ball assets, to realize that actually what they hold is a turd ball asset that has zero worth. And it's going to be something they don't like to drop straight on you. You know, they're not going to throw a bucket of ice water. They're going to give you some bad news and then say, no, but everything will fine. Don't worry, we'll take this. And then, oops, a bit more news. Oops, because of this, we won't be able to do it. They're going to make it look like a series of unlucky events have led to the fact that, well, now that's kind of trapped there and nobody wants it. And, oh, look, there's a very weak bid down there. Oh, and it's going away. Oh, dear, it seems no one wants to buy it anymore. Well, you can hold it, and it's essentially a Tamagotchi. Good luck. You can put that certificate on your wall for what it's worth as a memory, like a Zimbabwean note. But they're going to bleed that realization out slowly. That's how they do it. In the same way, when I started to talk about, because people were talking about the elderly and deflation, there was a question that I never finished answering about, will people passing away from deflation? Would it lead to deflation to have people passing away from the bite from the animal that begins with an M, or the one before it that begins with a C? And the question is actually, those people are non-producers and old. So they don't want their organs, they don't want their blood. They want to get rid of them, but they might like a last little pharmaceutical max extraction out of them so that they reduce how much money gets left to the children. Nice, expensive cancer treatment might be nice. So what you do is you offer UBI after you've destroyed their pension that is based on debt, the turd ball on the back of the dung beetle that may not pass through the eye of the needle. As a result, don't worry, we'll make you whole. Sorry that the turd ball actually turned out to be, well, turd, but we'll make you whole on a UBI basis and give you some money in lieu of pension. But the conditions of receiving UBI are X, Y, and Z, which also includes signing up for our palliative care and our elderly citizen medical requirements, which also include a vaccine passport and, of course, regular mosquito bites with a syringe to ensure you're up to date, which will in actual fact cancer you out in very short time. So the need to get their UBI will ensure you are terminated fairly quickly. So the pensioner harvesting death loop will be brought to bear, and that's how they'll deal with a pensioner problem. Conditioned UBI, that condition that will be attached in that will euthanize. And euthanasia is something that's become really popular. You know, in Canada, they have adverts, a very cool advert about how awesome it is to die. Isn't it lovely? Aren't they sweet people up top there? Isn't the man-child such a sweet little man bitch? Hey, Francis, Venezuela-style collapse, but worldwide, particularly for the West. They need to impoverish those European of extraction. The white man bad, particularly, but it'll be destructive. Also for Latinos in Latin America, it'll be destructive for African Americans in America in the same way at a financial level. Somewhere like 16 trillion CDS to Europe in 2008, 2009. Would I pay 30% tax on my crypto holding now to go in euro or stay in a stable coin? I cannot give you tax advice. I have no understanding of your profile. What I would suggest is that you don't ask or wonder about these things. You just go and protect your capital and do what is required. And, let them come and ask you for things. But if you want to make sure you are fully protected, you should, in fact, have a different locale, foundation or trust structure or corporation, depending to the relative need. And I know you're going to go, I don't want that. Oh, it's too late. I already did this. Well, you need to think about those things you're going to be doing going through this. Because one of those booms in that birthing canal, when you're trying to force your head through there and you're holding your breath, waiting to pop out the other side, and your lungs are about to burst, is going to be, how about all that income? Oh, it's in your personal name. Well, that means this applies. That means that tax applies. That means, have you declared this? And they will share a whole bunch of it off. They will give you paperwork to do and send you back to the back of the queue. And then things will change. And then the situation for old dollar gets worse and older and lower, and less amounts can go. And it'll all start hardening up. And the old system will go into decay and sclerosis very quickly. And anything that pushes you to the back of the queue means you get out with less, apart from your minimum allowance, which will probably be made. They swoop in and let me so kindly save you from drowning, says the monkey, as he safely puts the fish in the tree. Castro will receive cosmic justice. Well, I hope so. The spawn of Castro, he's referring to Trudeau. Francis, are we investing in Balenciaga? No, we're not. I'm still holding crypto, but I don't know if it even survives the reset. So crypto, blockchain principle is not going away. So a lot of people misconstrue what I say. Blockchain, Ethereum, particularly as an app and the property registration, lots of things are going to run on it. They are higher extractor for use than, say, these lower, more affordable chains. Those are all things the control structure loves, by the way. They actively have a use for that idiot Vitalik, who's a brilliant mind for coding, and then an otherwise a controlled fool who either knows what he's doing or doesn't realize it, and has got a whisperer, a chosen one whisperer and handler that you don't see, in the same way Tony Blair had one, in the same way every American president has a Reuben of some form. One big Ponzi, and you're going to see the scale. Like how we're hearing post FTX, the absolute scale that you almost feel stupid about even having anything there. The lack of, you didn't get wind of it on the front end, but the lack of controls, the lack of this, all of this, ETH is a perfect base layer for CBD, says Dirt to Stanger. So will XRP. They've actively courted it to be that. So these things survive. In fact, you already, if I look at the crypto market cap, have most of the devils in the top 10. The ones that I am concerned for is the stable coins. Because that's a real problem for them. They don't like that. They also didn't like DeFi, that you were getting real interest on something when they were paying absolute garbage interest on devaluing dollars. They wanted to keep you in a bottleneck squeeze where they stripped you of your money. Debt was super cheap, and savers got absolutely sod all, and they devalued your money. That is you, the monkey, the animal, the one that also bites, maybe this year, sliding down a grease pole. That's where they want you, because they provide the grease and the pole, and you just slide all the way down into the water with the crocodiles. And you've got to hustle and run until you're exhausted, die, and fall in, and you're consumed by the crocodiles. And they keep you on that grease pole. And the grease, my friends, is the inflationary grease and the low interest rates that gives them the privilege of proliferating their fake evil money that is absolutely to the fiat moon. Think of 4.4 trillion. Again, a million to count to a million, 12 and a half days. To count to a billion, 32 years. To count to a trillion, 32,000 years. 4.4 times 32,000 years. Okay, conceptualize the scale of that, getting $1 for every second. 4.4 times 32,000 years. We're talking close to 150,000 years ago. You would have had to start to count a single dollar a second to get to that number. You would have started 150,000 years ago and never stopped speaking and said a number for every second you're alive, including sleep. So think about the scale of that number. So Bitcoin is the one I have a bit of worries for. But I think it could still exist, and it could even still go up. But then the people who will hold it will have to be all the chosen people. Ethereum is absolutely a tool of oppression. Then you have Tether, BNB, a centralized exchange. Then you have USDC, BUSD. So number 3, number 5, number 6 out of 10 are all 22 billion, 43 or 44 billion, and 65 billion. So you have 65, 44. So 65 and 44 is already 110. Add BUSD, another 22, 23. You're on 130 billion of the market cap, almost the same value as Ethereum in stable coins. And then you have BNB itself, a centralized exchange with the BSC alternative chain to ETH that is, in fairness, cheaper, 47 billion. That's it. And then XRP comes after that, the banker token. So Bitcoin question mark, 2 through to 7, stable coins, centralized exchanges, banker coins, and the app coin layer 2 for your suppression. And then Doggy, Elon's pumpermental, very basic, low value coin that he might do some Twitter relationship with. And then you come to Cardano and Polygon at 9 and 10. So, I mean, it's not high innovation on freedom coins in there. Incidentally, on the crypto angle, we saw technically the beating of Bitcoin by Binance, Ethereum. We still expect Binance to overperform Bitcoin. We expect Ethereum to overperform, and we expect Monero to overperform Bitcoin, which is sitting on about 2.5 billion of value and $136 a token at the moment. So it wouldn't shock me that many of these people are the dark state are utilizing something like Monero as well. Which might mean you can too, but it could also put a big red flag on you. So be very smart about starting there. Solana is at $13, down from $260, which is the high that we called. We called it short at 34, and it's at 13. So that's kind of the crypto update. Yes, XMR BTC. We've been showing that in the community, and it is showing relative strength. But that doesn't mean it's been super, super strong. PRCY Pirate Chain, I prefer the bigger market caps. So it's not in the top 30, really. Paying pedophiles and psychopaths money to suppress you. Yeah. I'm sure that word with a P is not doing my algo very good. So all hit the like so that I'm allowed to use the word with a P, because there's 151 likes and there's 318 people. So smash it to keep fooling the utility. FTT had no utility. No, it was just an exchange token, and it was an opportunity to pump and hold a fake value, apply the law of market cap, and then use it as collateral for other things and get fiat. So that was pretty simple, which is a narrative that Richard Hart understands and has done with Hex, but currently not getting much liquidity there that I can see, and the token continuing to go down. So volume, I'm a bit skittish about people that are still stuck there. Grab my Pulse and Pulse X bags from someone who's sincere and honest, and will make sure you get it, assuming he delivers it. Send a mail to support@themarketsniper.com. I'm not sure it's going to do well. I'm happy to take 50% and step down. And all the upside is yours if it be, and I wish it for you. So it was like 29 trillion. Says EC660. Okay, any final questions before we finish this check-in with you guys midweek? Don't forget, Thursday is a PCE number, which is going to give dollar new direction. What is happening on the CPE, the inflation-ish number, the PCE number? That's kind of, what is it? Let's just get the facts straight. I'm reading it back to front as usual. This is this Thursday. It's going to be the biggest news of the week in terms of dollar direction. This will have an effect on crypto. This is the 31st. Also true, and coming up is our live trading day this Friday. If you just want to have an experience of us talking markets and charts, where the trades might be, some of the ideas that have come out of the community and others, and an overall macro check-in. Are there any opportunities following the core PCE? So it's PCE, price index, month on month. They're expecting 0.3. The previous month was 0.5. That's coming at 3:30 p.m. my time, which is morning time in America, December the 1st. It's likely to give direction to the dollar. You will also have the Swiss CPI that morning, which will tell you how the Swiss is doing on inflation. And at 5, you will have the manufacturing PMI, which was contractionary last time. So the 50 mark is, it was 50.2 previously. They are forecasting 49.7, which is a tip to a contractionary economy. So when manufacturing PMI, the manufacturing inputs price, is actually lower than 50, it is considered a contraction. And you've been borderline. You were 50.2 previously. So their forecast is 49.7. All of that comes on December the 1st, Thursday. It's going to be real direction. So if you get a confirmation of contraction on that data, and you get a core PCE, which is lower than the previous one and in line with expectations like 0.3, or even, God forbid, a bit lower, 0.2, which times by 12 would only be, 2 or 3%. That would mean that the costs are coming down of manufacturing and inputs, factory prices, which will have a knock-on effect on CPI, which will bring it down later. So it's a leading indicator. And core PCE also deals generally with very, very central to everyday use products. So hence the core element of that. So we'll see how that turns out on Thursday, whether it's dollar bullish or dollar bearish. It could be sign of slowdown, which could then get the Fed being more dovish for December and the subsequent February as well rise. If we have an event between now and then, which is shock horror, some of the examples we've already given you that we won't repeat, then you could have that beginning of the fall of the stock market and the cutting. And they could actually go from raising very quickly to cutting, having raised quite quickly, back to back. When he did the first 0.75, he said he doesn't expect to be doing that very often. He did 4 back-to-back 0.75s. That was 3% he raised. 4 back-to-back 0.75s. He increased by 3% in back-to-back meetings, 4 in a row. After saying after the first one, he didn't expect to do many. Why? Because the oil stayed up, because of the supply chain, etc. Okay, I think that's it. Any last questions? Looks like silver getting bid. You are asked about the metals, so we'll just do a quick run by the metals. I think it's something you should hold regardless of price at the moment, but gold has had a bit of a rally back to the level it gave up. 1700 is obviously a key level. It smashed back above that quite impulsively, and it's got small hammer on the week, last week, and it's got a little spinning top. Of course, so far we've only done a little bit of this week, so it's staying safely above the 1750 and the 1700 line, which was a key level. So that's a good development. That is a good development if it stays that way. We did warn that there was the possibility of a double top. We will see if that just turns into a big continuation pattern that has a bit of a flag structure on it. So I'm just drawing that at the moment. You can't see that. I will share that to the community, that draw. And if you're in there, you would be able to get it. Don't forget to go to themarketshyper.com and book a call and have a chat. We'll also have a look at silver and the gold-silver ratio while I just post that chart that I've just drawn for the lovely people of the community. XAU POS continuation structure, continuation double structure. Put it in there, and let's have a look at the silver as well. Doesn't mean it's gold is going to do the double top. Let's do that silver and have a look at that. So silver had some additional aspects behind it. Let's have a gold silver ratio. Gold silver ratio looks a little tired, like it wants to ease. Still very, very high. So let me tell you this on the gold silver ratio. You had 82. Technically, that means you need 82 ounces. Think of 82 coins. You know, if you think of a tube, some of them come 20, some of them come 25. You think of 20 tube big of eagles, let's say. You need 4 tubes and then 2 separate standalone coins to get a single ounce of gold. And if you listen to all the people that are pulling it out of the ground, you get about 8 ounces out the ground of silver for every ounce of gold. And that's when it's mined as a secondary product. So it's just not found very easily to the scale that people think. And this looks like it can ease a little bit and is having a bit of a pullback. I'm not sure it's about to spill chronically. I don't like how everybody in the metals market is always calling, now's the moment it's going to absolutely pump. There's so many cry wolves out there. It's been, we were very aggressive when it had its big run. And since then, we haven't really had a huge technical field yet for it. So I still think that day is coming. And with any recession that comes, with any event that is staged, planned, and released, what will happen is the paper price for precious metals will in fact fall. The premium will increase. We were talking, a couple of guys have done some scrapes and are already quite advanced. It was quite interesting, had a number of calls on people that want to map the actual price of physical delivered and do a chart with that. Just got real busy, so I've got limited bandwidth to do it, but we had an interesting chat with a number of people, and some have already been doing certain things in and around that. And I'm encouraging them to develop it out and get it a little bit further. But the real price is the price with the premium. And most places you're looking at about a 5 and sometimes even 6% possible premium to the dollar spot price. But actually, silver looks like it's going to get back above 22 for me after a recovery from the 18.5 time zone. It looks like it's going to get back above a key 22 level. So that will be positive progress and work its way up. But it's not yet the ripper yet. But it's going to get more. I think the spot price is going to go up, and you could also face higher premiums on that. And then I've also mentioned platinum to you all, platinum now it was 900s when I last spoke. It's 1,014. So platinum has overperformed as we suggest. I haven't looked at this before. That's fun. It's always nice to see when something's turned out as you said it would. It is up. It's at 1,014 XPT USD. Yeah, and that doesn't shock me at all. I think it will, of the precious metals, overperform. But the one problem you have when you buy platinum is that they still classify it as industrial. In many places where you buy it, will try levy VAT on what's a higher value item than the silver. That's the small downside. If you can buy it without VAT, that's super, super key. It is a precious metal. It's a bullshit that they qualify that as industrial, but I think a large amount of the demand is industrial, so it doesn't get the precious metal protection that gold has. But it might not have the confiscatability as well, which is what having a mix of silver and gold does. Generally, they're not going to come for industrial metal confiscatable. It'll be quite a big thing. So that's a couple of things, a quick chat. Any final befores? Go to the Market Sniper to book a call to have a look. Don't forget, live trading day this Friday. We will look for trades. We will cover the market. You'll see the screen, the charts with me. We will do both a crypto session in the second half and a traditional markets in the first half. And these signs, people, remember the real reason we started this stream. These signs, you get hyper normalization. You go, yes, I know there's that, but so what? Carry on. The sun came up. This happened. Everything seems fine. My bank's still there. I can still draw some money at the ATM. What's he on about? You know, it takes so much effort to actually go out and awkward and get money out and buy gold. And what if I want to buy something and I don't have as much money on me? and I've got less in my account, and maybe I'll just wait. There'll be a chance. We'll get another warning. And I'm saying the shoes have been dropping. The Pentagon confessions to the absolute skullduggery and slush fundability of how they all come to be permanent state multimillionaires working in the back offices, spying on you and managing the sheep as they so often do, and killing citizens as they so often do, and wanting to kill Assange and keep him jailed, citizens from other countries, and carrying on as they do, like Pompeo and all these other pigs. They are all living high on the hog. They live a different life to you, and they have dollars printed out of kingdom come under their control, and digits created in the computer that if you knew the true value of a dollar, you would already be at that Zimbabwe dollar level. You would already be at that Turkish lira level. This is all garbage paper. It's not worth anything. I've got bits of it all around as props. I've shown you the 500 million Zimbabwe note. It's all rubbish, my friends. This right here is real. Even the euro versions, here's a little bit of the euro version. Yeah. It's all garbage, promissory notes based on faith that they have betrayed many decades ago to you. This is something you hold. This I will take from you in its little condom so that it doesn't get my greasy little fingers spoiling it. That is money. That right there. I'll club somebody's head in with that. That comes anywhere near me with a mosquito medicine. So there you go. That's real money. Pure Gold is the link. It's in this YouTube. Go and grab it. Chat with us. It's reset times. Get preparing. They are preparing you. All the signs are there for implementing their CBDC and stripping your wealth out. When the clock stops and that bell is done, let me just tell you, as in the FTX, I watched it happen, and it was a microcosm of how it'll happen with you. You'll be able to log in, you'll see a number, and you will not be able to move it out. You will not be able to move it anywhere significant. You won't be able to buy anything on the internet. It will say, do not make any new deposits. Your number is there. We have noted it. Your records are fine. If you need any support, send us a ticket. And all garbage. They'll all sit there with auto replies and bots. And then slowly they will say, oh dear, it looks like the Russians have hacked it, like they try to pull on FTX. And the site will then hang. They'll switch the server off. You won't be able to log in. And it's goodbye, 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 goodbye. Maybe there's a record. Maybe there isn't. Maybe will come. People will get angry. Then they'll say, don't worry, we still have the computer records. You'll be compensated. Everybody will get every red cent. Yada, yada, yada. Promise, promise. Then you'll feel a bit better for a while. Then they'll tell you a new lie. Then there'll be a bit more bad news. And you'll be leaked out with this up and down mental game like ping pong between two lying bats. And after you've been battered back and forth, you'll come to the dawning realization that you probably lost everything. And what you're going to be given in replacement is not going to be worth a fraction of what you once had you bought exactly this, which other people will have. And then, my friends, don't resent on the other people. Direct your energy at the cartel, because it's not those that acted that are your enemies. It's the ones that put you in that predicament. And that is how they will try weaponize you who lost against those that took action, and say those nasty anti-Semitic, far right-wing, gold hoarding, silver buying people that have now caused inflation because we can't do solar panels anymore. We need a 2-tier silver price for these bullion nutmegs that just want to have bricks of metal in their basement. They're causing real tangible shortfalls. Watch the villainization. Watch the villainization that will come for those that have taken smart sanctity. And do not be manipulated into hating them. Hate the game orchestrator, the drama triangle, the perp, the victim, and then at the top right there, hiding behind the curtain, orchestrating it all. The Black Lives Matter, the black victim, the nasty white perp, and who is at the apex top of that triangle, orchestrating, weaponizing, and funding that chosen one that ran the slave trade, that ran the ships, that ran all the merchants. You are sitting at the end of this situation. He is ready. He has his implosions ready. He has the spontaneous destruction of this financial system already loaded with all the charges. In fact, they've been so ready to go. They've been shoring it up to ensure that all parts are ready to go so that they can pull that leg out simultaneously and every part collapses. That is what's coming. You're going to need more than just gold and silver. You're going to need friends that are reliable, that are trustworthy, that's got your back. You're going to need weapon, ammunition to protect yourself from the weaponized rioters that will be sent to your door if you're still in urban or suburban areas. You need to get rural. You need to make sure you have flow of water. You need to make sure you have flow of power. You need to be ready. You need to be ready for an end of times type debacle that the Hollywood producers have created for you as a real life movie. We're all about to become bit part actors on their stage that they've orchestrated. Make sure you choose the role well that you will be given. What you do today determines that. The link, themarketsniper.com, book a call. The Pure Gold link, get yourself some metal. The preparation you take for self-reliance and independence today, any form, even if you feel hopelessly underprepared, every step you take will take you a little bit higher and others will be able to pull you up if you're a good man and ready to make a contribution. Do not get taken down by these criminals that are actively preparing an ambush upon us all that will befall us on the date and time and numerology and gematria that suits them, that we can only guess at. Do not be a reactionary. Be the man who is as far best prepared as he can be for his best understanding in these times. Be your best version of yourself. Get up, take action. Have micro habits every day that take you a little bit forward, that each day you go to bed, you're better prepared. That is what I'm here to tell you to do, guys. This is what it's all about. The end of time prep is here. Get busy. You have friends. You have truth around you, and you have masses of deception. All the ones with the megaphones, the media, is all about deception, fear, and chaos. Do not be in fear. Be in joy, be in love, laugh, sing, and dance. Enjoy every moment of every day. Live for the day, live for the hour. You have been given by me another year of life. I ask you, if you use that year well, I will give you extended play for further years. If you do not use it, if you stay paralyzed deer in the headlights, they will take your contract away from you and you'll be sheared. And that is living on the edge. It's a beautiful world of adrenaline and leadership. Be a leader amongst men. Until next time, I will catch you then. Thank you for watching. See you on themarketsniper.com. Booking a call, buying gold, and preparing every day with a to-do list, knocking one thing off at a time. We overestimate what we can achieve in a single day, but after a year of little achievements, you will find you've come a long, long way. Bye for now.